Okay, let's get started. All right, check everything. It all looks like it's on. Might be a little noisy. It's very warm today. Says that it is. Oh, did I take the weather thing off of there? Oh, no, it's just not working. Well, it said it was like 90, 91 degrees today. I don't know if it actually hit that or not. Hey, New Vegas, welcome in. Just double checking the weather. 88 degrees is what it says right now, but still pretty hot, especially for us. So we've got a fan on in addition to our ACs, so it just moves stuff around. So sorry if you hear the fan in the background. Hopefully you don't. How are you guys doing today? How am I? I am doing okay. I mean, right before this, I mean, like 20 minutes ago, I was working like past time, and it was like irritating me a bit because it wasn't my choice. It was something else altogether. And I'm like, oh, every time I work, I get off at 3 my time, and then I start streaming at 4, right? So it gives me like an hour to like decompress and get in the zone and try to figure out like what I'm gonna do and just kind of like get hyped for wanting to paint and all that. It's like my transitioning my brain from work thinky to abstracty, thinking about painting, having fun, enjoying myself. And when that window is cut short, it's harder to clean break over, so I'm still in like work brain. So forgive me if I'm exceptionally cranky. I haven't cleared my mind yet, but I've got some coffee at the ready. Even though it's hot today, I've got hot coffee, which is stupid of me. I've got cold brew in the fridge. I should have had that, but maybe I'll do that after this. Hmm. How are you doing today? While you are writing that out, if you're writing something out, I'm going to put some of the stuff that I got. It's not much, but it's a little bit. You all right? Good. I'm glad to hear it. Well, I don't have much. Over the weekend we stopped by Michael's a couple times and got a couple things. Oh yeah, you said that before that you're watching Home Improvement. What season are you on now? Still season 1? I think it's one of those shows that's better the earlier on. It gets really good in the middle, then it just kind of goes, whatever, at the end. I don't know, plays different episodes. Oh, you have it randomizing through episodes? Oh, that's so confusing. Well, I guess not. It's not really, it's more episodic. It's not really like story driven from episode to episode to episode where they connect. No connecting threads, really. You can watch them out of order and it doesn't hurt anything. People change though. Some of the people change a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. All right. New stuff on Roku. Ah, okay. Not the paper we're gonna use today. The new stuff. One thing I got we're gonna use at the end is this gum Arabic. I've always wanted to get since I found out that it's a thing, and it is. Hang on, let me get something behind it. Will that work? Yeah, there we go. Gum Arabic. Gum Arabic. This is a material you put on your brushes to help reshape them. It's also a medium for watercolor, so I don't know what it looks like when you add it to watercolor, if it makes any difference. But the end goal for me, for why I got it, is when you get a new brush. I don't think I have any new brushes here, but play along with me for a moment. Some brushes, when you get them new, hang on, let me find one. I guess this is a good example, a round brush. Uh, when you get a new brush, especially ones with a tip that come with a um, pre-shaped tip, it comes kind of hard. So if you go into a Michael's or an art store and you find their brushes, and you see there's like for some of them there's a little sleeve, like a clear plastic sleeve over the tip to protect it. But when you remove that, the tip itself is kind of hard to the touch. It's got a type of glue or sometimes gum arabic in it that holds it in place before you buy it. right? To kind of keep the shape of the brush in situ until it is purchased by somebody. So when you first use it, you're supposed to mix it or wash it gently with warm water to wash away all of the gum residue or the glue residue before you start using it to paint with. But once you painted with it for a while, it's completely soft, right? But it starts slightly losing its shape. So a good example might be, I don't know if it is or not, these very cheap dagger tipped brushes I got are supposed to, I doubt this will show. No, I'm gonna have to do the same trick where I put it on something. Well, it's kind of hard to see, but you can kind of get the idea. That brush right there has like a thin amount of longer hairs right in the center. There it goes. And then the outer layer is supposed to sculpt toward that tip. Instead, you kind of see where the outer fringes of that brush, all the fibers, the shorter ones, are kind of splayed away from the tip. And that's after the glue was removed and cleaned out from the brush when I got it, it's splayed out like that. So it's a fairly cheap brush, I think, because of it. It doesn't retain its shape like it should. So the idea is at the end of the stream, or at the end of after painting, I'm going to clean my brushes on stream, and we'll try using some of the gum Arabic. So after we clean it thoroughly and dry it thoroughly, we'll dip the head of our brushes in gum Arabic, wipe off most of it, and then use our fingertips to help shape it into the design that we want. And then we're going to lay it flat on some paper towels and I'll let it dry overnight. And when I come back the next day, it should be more formed to the shape that we want. And hopefully when we clean it again and brush with it, it might have retained some of that shape. Maybe. On better brushes, I think it'll work better. But these cheapy ones, I don't have much hope for. But I'm going to try it. So we'll do that later. For now, I think what I'm going to do is to make things simple. I will do a simple painting on mineral paper because that's pretty quick. More coffee. Before we do the cleaning process because it's kind of involved. One of the other things I got is a new watercolor ink, or in this case, I think it's an acrylic ink. It is probably the same thing. I need to have it focus on something first. So let me see if I can get that to focus. Come on. There we go. So this is one of the brands I've already got some acrylic ink of. This new one is Sage Green, or Sap Green. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Sap Green, I'm reading it through the camera. And you can see it better from the bottom. It's a very nice green color. I need to shake it some to even it out, but that's a very nice sap green color, right? The existing green I've got, I'll pull it out. Nope, wrong drawer. This one. The existing green I have is a watercolor ink, and it is a leaf green. So that's way more pale. I'll put them side by side so you can see the difference. This was the only green I had, and it was super fluorescent, right? Super bright. So this gives me a dark green ink that I can use. And these inks work best, for me anyway, on the mineral paper. So that's what we're going to do is a mineral paper. I'm not even going to take my palette lid off today. I'm just going to be using nothing but inks. So let's figure out what we're going to do. The other acrylic ink I have is this one, same brand, and this one is Flame Red. So this one is the same brand. I already had this one as the one I picked up, and it was on sale. It was, I thought, $4, but it was actually on sale for $3 at Michael's. Normally it's, I think it was like $7, somewhere thereabouts. So yeah, super excited to try this out today. So we're gonna try out our new green. We might use some of the other greens just so there's two greens kind of competing. We've got Flame Red, which is the exact opposite on the color wheel, right? Where is the opposite of that blue? I never remember. No, I was right. Green. We've got a bunch of other colors. We can take them all out and look. We've been through these before, but we'll take a look at most of them and get an idea for what we want. And the good thing about these the mineral paper abstracts is even colors that oppose each other still look good. Still look good when you let them flow together on the mineral paper. Oh, and the other thing I got was this. I got 2 of these. The other one's over here with some soapy water already in it, but they're just little dishes from Target. I think they were $3 each, so pretty cheap. It was nice because I wanted some extra dishes for use with painting. Sometimes I want to have like a huge container of a color and I want to be able to put it all in one spot or use it to rinse, or like today, I'm going to use one of them with soapy water. So I think that's really handy. All right, colors. We have a lot. We have ourselves a burnt umber, like a dark brown color. And remember, we're trying to find stuff that goes with green. So the brown might actually go well with it. It might look kind of foresty. You know what I mean? So I like the idea of putting those together. That might be a good option. We have a couple of blue options. We've got a cadmium hue, a very light blue. We've got a phthalo blue, which is very pretty, which might go with it. It might be kind of sky-like using the 2 of these, so that's an option. We've got a ultramarine blue dark, so a darker blue, right? You love that blue? Which one? Like the one on the right or the one on the left? This one is phthalo blue, the one on the right. Yeah, this one's phthalo blue. So this one is right there. I don't know how well it will focus while I'm not holding something under it, but sometimes if I get really close and then pull back a little. Hey, yeah, phthalo blue. And then there is this cerulean blue as well. So that's that one. So we'll keep both of those in the vicinity. We've got the ultramarine blue dark over here. This is ivory black. This is indigo. I've got indigo in there, but that's a bit dark, so I might not use that one. We'll see. We've got a tiny bit left of the silver. There's not much left in here. Then I got some reds. I've got a kind of a purple, Quin magenta. Very pretty. I've got a cadmium red. We've got that flame red ink from earlier. We have white. I think it's Chinese white. We have a yellow is the last one I've got. It's a cad yellow hue. So when it comes to the green, we have a guaranteed green. I like the idea of doing a brown. So burnt umber will go nicely with it. You can barely see it from there, but up here it's a little bit brown. You can see it a little bit. So we're going to do those 2 for sure, I think. If we do a blue, we could probably do both a darker and a lighter blue. So we can probably do both of these a little bit. I like the idea of doing some yellow in it as well, because that will push it in a nice little yellow direction. And that might be more than enough. I don't want to do the leaf green, because that's just too bright. I don't want to do white. I don't want to do black, I don't think. If I do anything really dark, I might just do indigo, so I'll keep that to the side. I don't think I'm going to do any reds. I always do, and it overpowers it. And I want the green to shine a bit. So I think I'm going to put everything else up. Put them all away, so I don't have a table full of inks. Put that blue up. Put these reds up. I'm going to put up the silver because there's really not much of it, but maybe I'll keep it out. It's just really hard to open now. But we'll see. We'll see. Oh yeah, even holding up to the light, I can see through it, so there's almost nothing in it. This is watercolor ink though, so what I might do... Actually, that's a smart idea. Let me open it now. while I have a chance in hell of opening it. And I'm going to put a little bit of water in it. Just a little bit. Oh, wow. That was actually easier to open than I expected. Yeah, let me put... Yeah, there is a little bit of liquid in there. I think I may put just like a little dropper of water in it. I got these little pipettes they're used for scientific stuff, but I found them really cheap online, so I've got a bunch of them. I use them for the mineral paper stuff if I've got too much liquid and I can't get it off any other way because you can't move it once it's started. You can squeeze the air out of it and then put it tip down in the puddle and then let go, and it'll suction some of the puddle into the reservoir on top, and then you can squirt it out into a container and then blot it just to make sure you don't make a mess again, and then bring it back, do the same thing, squeeze out the air, and then rinse and repeat to get rid of any really big puddles. It's best not to make a big puddle, but if you can't help it, it's nice to have something to draw it away. But I'm going to use it just for water. So I'm going to put just a little bit of water, not much, into here. And I'm going to close it back up. And I'm going to give it a little bit of a shake to distribute it. And it should hopefully pull some of it off from the top and the sides, because watercolor ink should be water soluble. I hope it's going to just reintegrate. Imagine it will. But it should still be liquid and strong enough to stand alone when I want to use it. So it should be even now. Yeah, there's a little bit more in there now, and it looks like it will work well. We'll see when we get back to it. All right, so let's move some of these off to the side. I'm going to go ahead and give them all a shake and then crack them open so I don't have to fight with it. Oh, okay. Weirdly, my right arm is stronger because I'm right-handed. So a lot of times I have to open stuff with my right hand. Oh, come on. It's moving very slowly. That one's really hard. Come on, you jerk. Okay, I might have to come back to that one. Let's try some of the others. Shake, shake, shake. Oh my god, they need to work out. These are so hard to open sometimes because the ink gets up in like the lid area or the cap area, and it makes it really hard to get out. Oh my god. See if I can get some friction on it. There we go. That did it. I just needed some friction. All right, that got that one open. Right, gently close. Let's try this one that I couldn't get open. Oh my god, this one's so tight. I don't even tighten it down hard when I close it. There we go. Yeah, I just needed friction. There we go. That's open. Let's try these. Okay, I'm just gonna need to use this for all of them, aren't I? Yes, I will. Of course. Yep. All right, that's good. We tighten it back and give it a shake. Okay, let's shimmy shake our yellow. Yep. There we go. All right. And I forget, is there, oh, I didn't open this one. The indigo. Crack that one open. Oh my god. Do as I command. Open. Open, you ass. Come on. That sounded really terrible. Don't take that out of context. Open. Oh my god. It hurts. Oh, 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 oh. I think I'm getting it. I feel it turning. It's just really tightly on there, I think. Wow, it's still tight. It is turning, I think. I don't know if that will work, but let's see. Oh, yeah, there we go. That worked. Thank you, love. Whew, yeah, that one was on there good. In case anyone's wondering, I forgot where we got this from, but this is like a jar opener, like jar and cap opener. I have really terrible gripping strength, and my other half has to open jars and stuff for me all the time. But this helps give me leverage. So a lot of stuff it's hard to size it sometimes for things that will work, but it actually managed to work on this really nicely because I can show you on the one that's not open yet because it's not open yet. But you fit it onto the ridged part of a lid for something and squeeze while you turn to open, and it just makes it that much easier to get leverage to open things up. That one opened right up, but that's because that one is brand new. This one has not yet seen the light of day or the capabilities I have at ruining things. All right, thank you. That worked out really well. I'll put that to the side. Okay, now that that's done, let's get ourselves a sheet of paper. Again, for anyone that does not know, mineral paper. This is what the packaging looks like for one of the brands. I get this one from Yasimoto. It's made from calcium carbonate, right? And it says that it is technically available for nearly every media you can think of, right? That's a cool gadget, right? No, that little jar opener thing is really cool. I don't recall if I got it elsewhere. We won't say where. Or if we bought it. I don't recall. All right, let's go ahead and peel one sheet off of that. There was a divot in there. It's possible I might have hit it on something one time when I opened it. The others seem okay. Yes, good memory. Wasn't that the mineral that I saw on my nature hike? Yes, that is exactly right. So I think I have it saved still. Let me open it up and you can see what I'm talking about again. Discord. My pictures. Come over here for me. Open. There we go. And then this. This white mineral that you see here coming up from this one geyser is calcium carbonate. Not that direction. Is it this way? Yeah, and here's the little sign that's next to that one. And right there, this methane coming out of the geyser is broken down by microbes in the surrounding environment, which then reacts with calcium found in the water to produce a substance called calcium carbonate. This calcium carbonate settles out of the water and creates the gray residue you see in front of you. Right? And it comes out looking like that, like these little strands that you see, which were in the video, in the actual act of it happening, were flowing like strands of hair, like it was rippling with the water coming out, right? So super wild. And pretty flower tooth. Yeah, thank you. It was a really pretty cute pink flower. It was that was at a different location, but yeah, it was really pretty. But yeah, that's what this stuff is made out of. That's probably not how they make it. That would be asinine, but it's the same material. So this is very flexible paper, which I use the term loosely. It is incredibly thin. It is incredibly flexible. Like it's super, like you can see it's super floopy and floppy, right? So to use it for this type of painting, because all we're doing is applying water and ink and then connecting the two so that it flows into the areas where the water is a very wet process. And because this is not using standard paper made from cotton or from cellulose, there's no absorption at all. All it does is apply to the surface. So you have to depend entirely on evaporation for the water to evaporate out of the ink to be able to dry and adhere to the surface of this. An example of which is right here. This is the last one I did. Right? So same paper. This is just the bigger version. I've got a larger size, a larger pad of this. But yeah, exact same idea that we're going to do today. We'll put some ink down. We'll put some water down. We'll connect the ink to the water and let it flow outward into the water. And then we're just going to kick back and let it dry. We're just going to leave it alone. So that being said, since I'm planning on washing my brushes afterward, I think I am going to turn this thusly, as Adam Savage would say. I'm going to turn it that way so we've got room to work down here when we're cleaning, because it's going to have to stay put once we get it started. Right? Okay, so what are we going to do? What a darn good question. I don't know. We're going to figure it out together because I don't know. It's just going to be colors and we're going to play and let it flow. So my thought is, I think I'm going to do one very large line maybe and let it flow outward from it. I think that'll work. All right, so let me think this through. We've got our green, which is going to be our main color. We have some blues and our yellow. I want to do the brown. So the brown is going to be important as well. So I'm going to organize it by its value, how strong, like how dark or how bright it is. So we're going to put the silver, the yellow, and the cerulean blue, the sky blue color. We're going to put that on the right side. And our darker colors, we're going to put on the left. All right, so let's do some planning. I'm going to put the dark ink down first. And then I'm going to put large blots or drops or puddles, not large, but big enough, of the lighter colors on top or next to the dark ones. So when they flow, I'm hoping the light color will flow on top of the dark colors. So let's start with our new green color that we got, our sap green. I'm going to squeeze the dropper, pull it out, and let's just go right down the middle. So I'm going to squeeze and let go, squeeze and let go, squeeze and let go, squeeze and let go. All right, and maybe add a little bit more over here. Because again, green is going to be our main color. All right, I'm going to tighten that down good. Okay. Next up, our brown. It should already be shaken. It is sealed. Squeeze. Let me grab some of it because I don't use this one often. It's still very full. So, okay, I'm going to next to the green and maybe on top of it, I'm going to do the same squeeze and let go, squeeze and let go. Okay. We've got green, we've got brown. Okay. And the more I think about it, I almost want to skip the blue. Maybe I'll do just the tiniest amount. Let's grab just a very little bit of it. I'll put it in the gap. I'll put some like here and here and maybe one here. Okay, tight seal. All right, let's grab some of our cerulean blue. Oh, really? Is that so, comment? Okay, we've got some blue. Seal that up. Let's grab some of our yellow, our cad yellow. All right. Excuse me. Take a brief moment to have some coffee. Feel free to redeem the coffee. I'm drinking it early. Okay. All right, last up. We're going to put some silver in it. So let's grab, I'm just going to go along it and just do a couple of drops of it. right. This should be more than enough. And we can always add more afterward. Okay. So up next, I'm going to go ahead and use this large flat brush with a mottler. I don't remember. Mottler. A mottler brush. Just a large flat brush. I'm going to grab some clean water. And I'm going to fill up near, but not on top of, the line of ink that we did. Really close to it. And just do a line of nothing but water. And I'll do some more in the line above it. So that is nice and full of water. I'm going to turn on the light in front of me too, so hopefully I'll see the light reflecting off. Yep, or the water. Yep. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom down here. So I'm going to not touch the line yet. And I'm going to go across. And then the same thing for the next line underneath it. And then maybe a little bit further. All right, we've got ourselves a lot of water, folks. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this sucker up with a lot of water. And we're going to start connecting the dot. So we're going to connect the line of ink to the water above and below, and it should bloom outward. So I'm going to go from left to right. The green is really dark and it's hard to see. Not for long. Let's go ahead and connect the dots. Okay, let's grab some more water. We're going to connect the dots here. And same thing. We're going to grab some more water. And we're going to connect the dots here. Okay, and then the last bit on the end, we'll connect the dots right here. Okay. The green looks like a black. Yeah, it spreads out pretty quick though. Once you can connect it like that, let's go ahead and bring all of this up a little bit. Okay. And let's connect some of it down here so that it flows toward the edge on this side. All right, and that is pretty much it. Now you can move it around. Really cool how everything changes. I know, right? It's totally crazy. It absolutely like twirls and moves and just kind of does what it wants. It's super cool. Add a little bit more water in some of the circles where it's not quite connected. Okay. Okay. All right. We have ourselves a great big pile of ink. So let's go ahead and rinse out our brush. And that is about it. That's all I can do. I can't do anything else with it. Anything else I do is just going to make a mess. You could add individual bits of color to it, like directly from the palette. Get really dark, really thick with your brush and add like dots of color on top in certain areas. Like I could do that if you want to. Like we can pick our Indian yellow and wet it down and really scrub and get a good bit of it. Get really wet, really buttery, really thick with color. And then I could pick spots where I can add touches of yellow, right? I can move it around a little bit, right? And I can shift things and do little shapes if I want to. and then just let it sit. I got water on my wrist, on my arm. Yeah, we'll just do different colors and shapes and stuff in here and let it just sit. And then we can go further. Let's add something else to it. We can add some salt, right? So we can add some salt in a couple of areas. And then as it slowly dries, it'll affect things fairly similarly to how it does on a full-size painting. Okay. And as long as I just let that sit and leave it alone as it slowly dries, the salt will help do some of the same separation that happens on regular paper. I'll go ahead and sop up that. But now I cannot touch it. It is so very soaking wet that I can't move it. I can't lift it. I can't do anything because if I pick this up, it's just going to all run off onto my table. So it has to sit here and completely dry overnight. It's going to take hours. So we're going to let it sit there. It's going to think about what it did. If anything, I could add maybe like little bits of some yellow. Just to give it something. I'll just do it from a high. Oh, I didn't get anything in that dropper. We get cool shapes from the splatter from it falling. You do some blue. Maybe some of the brown, because not a lot of the brown came through. And that's probably enough. I don't want to mess with it too much, so I'm just going to let it sit there and think about what it did. I don't know. The more I say it, the more I'm like, fuck with it some more. So I think I will, because I'm silly like that. Let me grab some clean water. I am just going to do this number. And back. Okay. That'll do something different that I've never done. Putting some weird streaks into it like that. And then we'll see how it dries. All right, stop messing with it. Okay, I'm going to stop messing with it. I'm going to take my own good advice. All right. Okay, let me wet this paper towel really quick. And I'm just going to, because I dropped some of this from on high, I just want to make absolutely sure. Oh, I'm starting to leak off the side right here. It'll be fine. I just want to make sure I get any of the bits that I dropped that splattered before I end up landing my arm in it and then getting it everywhere. And then you, well, yep, there's a little bit of green. Ended up right here somehow. Okay. All right, well, we're on to the cleaning part of the night. So let me make sure I didn't get anything on me. I did not. Huzzah, wow. Let's take a look at cleaning. So what do we need to clean? Well, my round brushes, for one, need some love. This modeler brush needs some love as well. Let me just grab my rack of brushes from over here. And we'll go through the ones that need cleaning. So let me take my glasses off so I can see these up close. A good portion of them are fine because I don't use them very often, like this mop brush, for example. This is an oval mop brush. It's still floofy and pretty and perfect, and it does not need to get shaped. But I never use it, mainly because for watercolor, I'm not quite sure how. Once it gets full of water, it just turns into literally a mop. It turns into like a wet mop, and it just clumps together. I see it being useful for dry brushing. So if I get a very light amount of or even a heavy amount of pigment, but very, 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 very dry. Just a little bit of water on it, and then I want to brush a little bit. I think that's what that's mainly for. But that one's fine. I've got a fan brush, but it's in really good shape because also I don't use it much. My round brushes are my worst culprits. They're the ones that I mess up. I also want to work on these dagger tip brushes I was talking about earlier. You get those with dagger point. I use this a good bit, so I'm going to clean that one too. These are cheap brushes I don't use, so they're fine. Oh, here's my other large round brush. And I think those are about it. Everything else is in pretty good shape or rarely used. So I'm going to put this up. All right. So first, I'm going to need a landing pad for all of these because they're going to have to dry on something. So let me make some room. I'm going to put up all of these inks. They're all closed. All right, I'm going to throw out this because it is full of that green ink. And I made a mess over here, so let me see if I can get some of that up before I put this up. I'm going to need a new paper towel. Let me do that. That's music from Star Trek Beyond, I think it is. The Chris Pine, J.J. Abrams ones. The last one they did was really good. I actually wouldn't mind seeing that again. That was years ago, but still, it was good. I think we saw all of the Star Trek movies in theaters since Nemesis. I think we saw them all in theaters. If not, we saw them not too long after. There's very few movies that were willing to just say screw it, we're going to a movie theater. And I think for me, Star Trek movies are it because they're so few and far between. Okay, that should be most of it. All right, let's skip these over. Trying to make sure I keep them away from the painting in front of me that is sopping wet. I'm going to go ahead and grab some paper towel to lay out. Okay. Put my paper towels up. Bring in the soapy water. Get that at the ready. I can use this for rinsing before I hit, but I need this for rinsing the soapy water out. So I'm gonna keep my kind of dirty rinse water. But my final rinse before I dry a paper towel is going to be in this clean water. God, I'm dropping everything. Don't mind me. I'm just a klutz. I'm just a klutz. Everything's fine. Nothing spilled. I'm just a klutz. I'm just a klutz. And life is a nightmare. Okay. Let's close that up a little bit. Okay. Okay, so what is my flow going to be? I'm thinking for these brushes on the left, my round brushes and these dagger tip brushes is what I'm going to use the cleaning process and then the gum Arabic on. These two brushes on the side here, my 1-inch wash brush and the Mottler brush, I'm just going to be giving a good deep clean and then drying and letting to sit on the paper towel to dry. But the additional step is going to be these round and dagger tip brushes of going in the gum Arabic to help reshape. Okay, so let's start with these because they're easy and I've been using them and they're actually still full of water. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one final really good rinse in my rinse water. I've got little scrubbies, a little scrubby pad on the bottom of these, so that helps. I should put one on the bottom of this. I have it somewhere. Let me double check it. Was it here? No. Is it here? I don't think so. They put it somewhere. I don't remember where. Did I put it down here? That's where I thought it would be. Flattened though. And now we're going into the weeds. It's really not down here. So I put that. I'll have to look. I think I had a third one. Now I'm questioning. I don't recall if I did. Regardless, I'm fine with what I got. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and run this through some soapy water. It's just Dawn dish detergent for me. The big lesson I learned from it is don't jam your brushes straight down nose first. I'm just swishing. And since this is a flat kind of brush, I'm just doing some flat presses to try to let the soapy water really get between the bristles. Okay. I'm going to drain most of that out, and I'm actually going to move it away because I've got it perilously close to the painting. Let's go ahead and drain most of that out. And I have, unfortunately, misused this brush a bit by getting, well, I don't know if it's misuse, but I got a bunch of indigo all the way up at the top of the bristle, right next to the ferrule, and it stained it. But I don't think much of that's coming out. I don't want to bend it very hard, but some might be coming out because the color of the water has changed a little bit. Not very strong, but just a little. All right, let me go ahead and rinse it in my clean water. And I'm scrubbing it. I've got the little scrubby down the bottom, so I'm helping scrub some of the soap out. All right. And I'm just going to kind of squeegee some of it out from the rim. And then I've got a spare paper towel over here that I'm just going to blot most of the water out. Off to the side. And then I'm just kind of flicking it in it to try to get as much of the extra water out as possible. But a lot of it is going to just be in it. So I think I'll just kind of straighten it out with my fingertips and just kind of pull upward and a little bit inward toward the center, but I'm keeping it flat along the length of it. But I'm just gently kind of bringing this outer side in a little bit and this outer side that way a little bit to kind of not be perfectly square, but just a little bit tapered in. All right. We're getting there. I think that's good. I'm just going to set it down and I'll let it finish drying on there. All right, let's hit our wash brush because it's kind of warped out of shape too. So let's go ahead and I'm going to hit it in the rinse water container just to kind of get it wet. And to get rid of any potential excess that's been sitting in and dry for a bit. This should help rehydrate it a little before it gets into the soapy water. All right. And let's go ahead and swish it around in our soapy water. Bring it a little bit closer, but I don't want it too near the painting. was the Voyager theme? Got a nice sharp point on that one now. I'm going to let it dry over here. All right. Let's start with some of these dagger brushes. They're clean. I never used them. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just wet them. Or maybe not. Maybe we'll skip the cleaning for these because I never used them and they're not dirty. But we're going to try to shape them, I think. Maybe that will help hold them in place. So we'll do those last. Let's hit our round brushes. You can see I have it stained. I don't expect the stain's going to come out, but we can try. At least clean it up a little bit. This is the theme from Generations. I think. Ooh, I actually don't know. Might be. Nope, I'm wrong. Star Trek V: The Final Frontier. I think they reused it for Generations. I'm thinking of the bit where they destroy the Enterprise D with the Klingon bird of prey, the Duras sisters. They always use that same battle music for Klingons. In movies. They don't care about it in TV shows. Alright, let's clean this one off. It's hard to tell while it's wet, but it might have cleaned it up really well. We'll let it sit here for a minute. Let's clean them all up. Yeah, we're just getting a lot of bangers. The Deep Space Nine theme. Such a good theme. All right, let's clean our last one. All right. So I was just reading the process to use the gum arabic. So I'm going to move the soapy water to the side. I'll clean it up later. I'm going to get this new dish and we're going to pour a little bit in there. It says the steps are clean the brush, just did. Remove excess water. I'll do a double check on that here in a minute. Apply gum arabic. Pour a small amount of liquid gum arabic into a dish. Dip the brush bristles into the liquid. Shape with fingers. Pinch and twirl the bristles with your fingers to smooth them into their original intended shape, such as a sharp point or a neat flat edge. Ensure no stray hairs are sticking out, and then lay it on its side in a safe place where it won't be pressed against anything to let it dry completely for a few hours or overnight. So we've already done the first part, cleaning them. So it should be pretty straightforward from here. This is a good clean dish, brand new. I just cleaned it before stream. Go ahead and crack this open. Very good. Remember something important about bottles. So I said it before, if you have a bottle shaped like this, where you've got a flat edge along the edge of the bottle spout and then a curved edge on this side, you're meant to pour it toward the curved edge so you don't pour out too much. They designed it like that, I think, mainly for oil, like motor oil for cars. But a lot of other bottles you come across will have that curve. It's always best to pour uh, on the side that has the curve, so you only get a dedicated amount. So I'm just going to put a very small amount because I don't really know how much, but I don't think I'm going to need a lot. Interestingly enough, when I was looking this up, it said you can alternatively use hair gel because it will effectively act the same way. But hair gel has a bad habit of leaving a ton of white flaky residue behind when you rub it out. And I don't want that in my brushes. So we're going with the original product, gum arabic. So let's look at the largest brush because it's going to be the scariest one to do because one has got a lot of water in it. So let's get out more water. So I'm just running it around in circles around my paper towel to try to get as much out as I can. I'm treating it kind of like my own hair. See, I like running it around the paper towel, made it lose its shape. I don't think you're gonna be able to see it, but well, it's just trust me, it's hairy right now. Oh, now it focuses. Yeah, so it's kind of going all over the place, right? So we're going to use the gum arabic to try to put some of that back into place. So I'm just going to run it through it like it says, kind of like I do when I'm grabbing paint or grabbing water. And I'm just going to kind of let it get everywhere inside it. Right, just even amount. Okay, and then I'm gonna run it along the edge to get out most of it. Okay, so the act of doing that basically shaped it the way I want. I'm gonna adjust it a little bit, I think, but I don't think I'll need to. I think doing that did most of it. It said use my fingers, but I don't want it on my fingers, so I'm just gonna run it through the paper towel once or twice. Yeah, to just try to hold the shape. And I'm gonna leave it like that. That way it's not soaking wet, but it's just damp with the gum arabic. And it's got a pretty nice point on it. I don't know that that will focus. It probably will not, but it's got a fairly good point on it now. Yep. There's a little bit on the tip that is not. Okay. I'm gonna let that rest on its side. Same deal. Just gonna rub out any of the remaining water in here. And same deal. I'll run it around. Get all the sides. Okay, and same deal. I'm gonna gently just rub the edge on the container to get most of it out. All right, and then same deal. I'm gonna take just the excess off, and I'm just very gently I'm not even squeezing it. I was just kind of letting it rest in a channel with a paper towel just to help it shape it and rub off any extreme excess from it. And that looks good. Tip is a little off center. Come on. Let that go. Let's grab the next round brush. We're going to swirl it around. The smaller ones I already dried out really well, so I'm just going right to it. Okay, and let me pull from the side. Make sure I'm going all the way up the bristles with it. All right, sopping wet with gum arabic. Now I want to know how do you paint with gum arabic? What is its purpose? What does it do? Because I've never had a medium, a liquid medium, uh, an additive, I guess you can say, to add to paint. I'm curious what its purpose is. How does it work? We'll have to do that maybe Thursday if I've got time. That'll be interesting to see. Ooh, I've got loose hair in there, or it's just really fuzzy. We add some of that gum arabic back and we don't pull it all off with the paper towel. I think this one was so furry it might need to stay on it. Yeah. This one I think I need to use my fingers to shape. Wow, I use this one so much it's gone furry. It's like right at the tip, the edges are like splayed out. I'm hoping this is going to pinch them into shape, but it looks like some of them just will not. That's really interesting. I actually didn't realize I was going to have that problem. This is the one I use the most. My size 6 round brush is the one I use the most. And I don't think you'll be able to see what I'm talking about with this. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but it's just a little bit furry on the edge. Yeah, I can barely see it with my eyes, but when I'm holding it up against the light that I have in front of me here, I can see the little tiny bits of slightly fraying or furry tips of the bristles. I don't know if this is going to be strong enough. It's not like they're going haywire. It's like kind of like felt. Felt or I think felt is the best example I can give, where felt has that kind of like it has a texture, but then it's got furriness on top of it. That's kind of what the tip of this is. It's got the individual fibers of each strand of the hair or synthetic hair in it, but the tips of them are all kind of like fraying sideways a little bit because I've just used it to help. So hopefully this will help it calm down a bit. All right, I think I'm done screwing around with it as much as I can. I set it down, and let's do the last one. Okay, and same deal. Straighten it out. That one I use a lot too, so it's got some of the same problem. Okay. And now the struggle bus is going to be these guys. So let's try to reshape these ugly ass dagger tip brushes and give them a little bit of love. I don't know how it's going to go. Oh my god, hair is just coming out of it into the ugh. These brushes are garbage. They're just garbage. Got them on Amazon. I thought they were a good deal because they were cheap, but they're just too cheap. It's okay. Let's just see what we can do with it. And try to point them back a little tiny bit. I don't think they're going to even do that, but I'm going to try. Okay. Yeah, it's just an ugly brush. I think it's just going to do what it's going to do, but let me try. Let's do the next one. It's probably going to pick up some of the hairs. Okay. I thought I saw loose hair in there. All right. Clean my fingertips off. Let's get this last one done. Okay. Yeah, this one's easier because it's small. But I'm hoping this is going to help these bounce back and look like they should. Like, this is how they came. Like, I don't know if you saw earlier when it was just the hair was just going everywhere on these. Okay, don't focus. Close enough. That's what they looked like when I got them. But very quickly after getting any amount of water on them, they just disintegrated and just went everywhere. It's really sad. All right. I think that's it. A little bit of an early stream. I think that might be all. Did a quickie mineral paper one that still has to dry. We'll see how that looks on Thursday. I'll once it's dried overnight, I'll scrape off any of the salt. And then we'll see how it looks on Thursday. Oh, Desert. Hey, welcome in. I purchased a small container of gum Arabic because it was supposed to extend painting time. Ah, but so many things under its list of abilities. Binder, increased lifting. Apparently it's also a soft masking fluid. Really? I imagine so. If they say that hair gel is a cheap substitute for gum Arabic for reshaping brushes, just like it shapes your hair, but it's a less intense version of it and built for use with watercolor. I see that. I see that working. I just don't know, like, would that work only on raw paper? Or would it work on top of already painted material without gumming it up and being hard to take off? That's the real question. What is it like when it dries? I don't know that yet. It's my first time using it, so I'm really curious how firm, how gummy, how tacky, how clay-like, how easy is it to scratch away, right? Maybe we try that really quick. Do I have a sheet of any paper? Oh, I could do this. I've got some of the business cards that I made. Here's one of the cheapery kind of ones, but this is done on watercolor paper. Let me try putting some of it on that. Oh no, all my brushes have this on it. Uh, you. there any left in the bottom of this? Not really. Let's dip some right out of the container. I'm curious now. Maybe we do it on actual sheet of paper that doesn't have anything on it, so we can see what it acts like. Do I have any? That's not like part of a big. Maybe. Un momento, s'il vous plaît. Here we go. All right. All right. Let's grab a sheet out of here. These never separate nicely from the binding. Maybe I don't. Let's just bend the front cover of this around. And let's. This is a script brush. Honestly, it needed a little shaping too, so this might be a good thing. And I'm just going to put a little S, an S shape. Okay. And maybe we do like a big circular blob. Okay. And while it's here, I'm just gonna pull some of this back into the container. Run it through my paper towel once just to get off any excess. And I'm gonna let it sit here. And it too is gonna have been hit with the gum arabic. All right, so I'm gonna close that up. And we'll come back when we look at this on Thursday. We'll look at this and we'll paint something over it, let it dry or make it dry, and then we'll try to peel that off and see if it actually works. What a great suggestion. I'll totally give it a shot. Fingers crossed. But I like the idea. So a main purpose would be to extend painting time. Really? I'm curious in what way? For watercolor, I mean. Extend painting time, like, can you mix a small amount of it with water and do like a wash of water on the surface? And it keeps it wet longer, so you can do wet on wet technique? I'll have to look it up too. Maybe we'll make a day of gum arabic and see all of its uses and figure that out together. I think that's a good idea. Very cool. What a neat idea. All right, I'm gonna let this sit here and think about what it did. I'm gonna clean this. I'm gonna clean this. Gonna clean my two water containers, and then I think I'm gonna call it a rest for the night. All right, guys. Well, very short stream. Well, 30 minutes shorter than. Excuse me, burp. That was gross. 30 minutes normal, shorter than normal. But I'm going to head out. Good for you in the desert. I see that making a lot of sense where it's really dry. Yeah. That's wild. What an interesting thought. I wonder if you can pre-mix gum arabic into your paint from the tube when you squeeze it out and are putting it into like a palette just to make the paint itself last longer. It's an interesting thought. I'd be terrified to put a large amount in with my regular paint and just pre-mix it and have it already in the well, dried up like that with some in it. I'd be afraid it wouldn't rehydrate, but I don't know anything about it, so it might be exactly what it's designed for. We'll think about it later. We'll revisit that another time. All right, I'm gonna head out. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me. We'll see how this comes out. Once it's all dry, it's gonna be way lighter than this. It's already starting to, you see, in the sides in the middle. It dried up, but in the outer areas where it was the wettest, it's still very wet. So it's gonna dry. We'll take a look at it and we'll see what it looked like when it's done on Thursday. And then we'll see how our brushes came out. We'll see how they work. How do they react when you hit them with water and break them open for the first time after using the gum arabic? Are they going to go right back to their old crummy ways, or are they going to be able to retain their shape as long as I don't brutalize it and bend it too much while I'm using it? It'll be interesting to see. All right, guys, have a great night. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you're lurking, thank you for lurking. My name is Bear. I've been barely watercoloring, and I will see you on Thursday. All right, guys, Have a great night. I'll see y'all later. Goodbye. 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 Farewell. I'll see you later. Goodbye, everybody. See you later. Goodbye. Scrunchy, scrunchy. Bye.